I never believed in ghosts until I started seeing one in my bathroom mirror. Not behind me, not lurking in the shadows, but in place of my own reflection. At first, it was just for a split second, a face that wasn't mine staring back. Now, it's getting worse. This morning, my reflection,
Hello, is anyone there?
I whispered to the mirror, feeling ridiculous. My reflection stared back, unmoving, even though I was waving my hand. Then it smiled. A smile I wasn't making. I stumbled backward, nearly falling into the bathtub. That was 3 weeks ago, and things have only escalated since then. It started after I moved into this old apartment building. The rent was suspiciously cheap for such a nice place, but I was desperate after my divorce. The first week was normal, then came the small oddities. Items moved from where I'd left them, the shower turning on by itself, cold spots in random corners of the bathroom. I'm not the type to jump to supernatural conclusions. I blamed old pipes, forgetfulness, drafty windows, all the logical explanations. But logic failed me the morning I saw someone else's face in my mirror. Today, I decided to document everything. Maybe writing it down will help me make sense of it, or at least prove I'm not losing my mind.
Day 1 of documentation. It's 7:15 a.m. I'm standing in front of my bathroom mirror.
I spoke into my phone's voice recorder, feeling self-conscious but determined.
My reflection looks normal right now, same tired eyes, same unshaven face. I'm going to test something.
I raised my right hand. My reflection did the same. I touched my nose. Again, my reflection followed. Everything seemed normal, but I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Not by my reflection, but through it. I went to work that day, distracted and on edge. My coworker noticed.
You look like you've seen a ghost. Everything okay?
Just not sleeping well, new apartment, you know how it is.
If you need to talk, I'm here. My sister had a similar look when she was going through her divorce.
Thanks, but I'm fine, really.
I wasn't fine. When I got home that evening, I avoided the bathroom for as long as possible. Eventually, biology won out. I kept my eyes down as I washed my hands, but curiosity got the better of me. I looked up. My reflection was there, but something was off. Its eyes seemed deeper, darker. When I leaned forward to look closer, it leaned forward too, but just a fraction of a second too late. Like it was copying me rather than reflecting me.
Who are you?
I whispered. My reflection's lips moved in sync this time, but I swear I saw it smile slightly at the corners. That night, I dreamed of drowning in a bathtub filled with black water. In the dream, I looked up at the bathroom mirror and saw myself watching, making no move to help as I struggled. I woke up gasping, sheets soaked with sweat. Day 2 of documentation. I called my landlord this morning.
I was wondering about the history of my apartment. Has anyone else reported any unusual experiences?
What kind of unusual experiences?
I don't know, strange noises maybe? Issues with the plumbing or electricity?
Building's old, so you might get some pipe knocking or circuit issues. Nothing serious, though. Why, you having problems?
No, just curious.
Well, apartment's been renovated recently. Previous tenant left suddenly, but that happens. People get job offers, family emergencies, you know.
His tone was casual, but something felt off. I pressed further.
The previous tenant, did they leave any forwarding address? Maybe they could tell me about any quirks of the place?
Sorry, don't have that information. Privacy policy and all that. Anything else I can help with?
No, that's all, thanks.
He hung up quickly. Too quickly. I spent the rest of the day researching the building's history online. Nothing unusual came up. No tragic deaths, no mysterious disappearances. Just an ordinary apartment building constructed in the 1960s, renovated several times since then. That evening, I forced myself to conduct another mirror test. This time, I recorded it on my phone, propping it up on the sink.
It's 8:43 p.m. I'm testing the mirror again.
I moved my hands, turned my head, made faces. Everything seemed normal in real time, but when I played back the recording, my blood ran cold. There was a 3-second delay between my movements and my reflections. 3 seconds that shouldn't exist. I watched the video again and again, convincing myself it must be some glitch with my phone's camera, but deep down, I knew better. That night, I covered the bathroom mirror with a towel before going to bed. I slept better, but woke to find the towel on the floor. I told myself it must have fallen. The adhesive tape I'd used wasn't very strong. Day 3. I decided to ask around about the previous tenant. The elderly woman next door was happy to chat.
Oh, you're in 4B now? Such a nice apartment. Young woman lived there before you. Kept to herself mostly.
Did she mention anything unusual about the place?
Unusual? No, not that I recall. Though now that you mention it, she did change quite a bit in the months before she left.
Changed how?
Started looking tired all the time. Jumpy. I asked if everything was all right and she said she wasn't sleeping well. Thought she might be having relationship troubles, but never saw anyone visiting her.
I felt a chill run down my spine.
Then one day she was just gone. No goodbye, nothing. Left some furniture behind too, which isn't like someone planning a move. The landlord said she had a family emergency.
Did you believe him?
Not really, but what do I know? I'm just an old woman who watches too many crime shows.
She laughed, but her eyes remained serious. As I turned to leave, she grabbed my arm.
You know, she did say something strange once. Said she felt like she was being watched in her own home. I told her to check for hidden cameras, but she said it wasn't like that. Said it was like someone was watching her from inside the mirrors.
My mouth went dry.
I thought she was just stressed from work. Now I'm not so sure. You're looking a bit like she did, if you don't mind me saying.
That night, I couldn't bring myself to enter the bathroom. I used the facilities at a nearby gas station and washed up in the kitchen sink. But around midnight, I woke to the sound of running water. The bathroom faucet was on full blast, steam filling the small room. I hadn't been in there since the previous morning. I approached cautiously, reaching in to turn off the tap. As the steam cleared, I saw the mirror was completely fogged over, except for a handprint that wasn't mine, larger with longer fingers. I backed out of the bathroom and slept on the couch with all the lights on. Day 4. I called in sick to work. I couldn't focus, couldn't think straight. I spent hours researching mirror phenomena, finding countless superstitions and urban legends, but nothing that matched my experience exactly. By evening, exhaustion overcame my fear. I needed a shower. I entered the bathroom, keeping my eyes averted from the mirror. The hot water helped calm my nerves, and for a few minutes, I almost felt normal again. Then the shower curtain moved, just slightly, as if someone had brushed against it from the outside. I froze, water running down my face.
Hello?
No answer. I turned off the water and listened. Nothing but the drip of the faucet and my own breathing. I pulled back the curtain slowly. The bathroom was empty, but the mirror had fogged up from the shower steam. Written in the condensation were 2 words. Help me. I didn't write that. Couldn't have written that. I was in the shower the whole time. I dressed quickly and fled the apartment, spending the night at a cheap motel. Even there, I covered the bathroom mirror with a towel. Day 5. I returned to my apartment, determined to face whatever was happening. I brought sage, salt, and holy water purchased from a New Age shop downtown. The clerk had given me strange looks, but took my money without comment. I cleansed the apartment as best I could, following instructions from a website about removing negative energies. Whether I believed in it or not, I needed to try something. Then I stood before the bathroom mirror, uncovered.
Who are you? What do you want?
My reflection stared back, mimicking my words perfectly this time. I felt foolish. Maybe I had been imagining things, letting stress and isolation get to me. Then my reflection blinked when I didn't. I stumbled backward, heart pounding. My reflection didn't move. It stood there, watching me with my own eyes that somehow weren't mine anymore. Slowly, its lips moved.
Help me.
But I hadn't spoken. The voice was mine, but the words weren't.
She trapped me here. Now she's in your world.
My reflection's mouth moved, forming words I wasn't saying. I wanted to run, but I was frozen in place.
Look behind you.
I didn't want to. Every instinct screamed not to turn around. But slowly, involuntarily, my head began to turn. Standing in the doorway was a woman, pale, with long dark hair and hollow eyes. She looked solid, real, not like a ghost at all. But there was something wrong about her, something that made my skin crawl.
Don't listen to it, it lies.
Her voice was hoarse, as if rarely used.
She's the entity. She's attached herself to this place, to the mirrors. She traps people inside and takes their place outside.
My reflection spoke urgently. The woman took a step forward.
I was like you. I lived here before. It showed me my reflection acting strangely, made me think I was being haunted. But it was manipulating me all along, weakening the barrier between us.
She's lying. I'm you. I'm the real you.
My head spun. Who was telling the truth? The woman looked desperate, frightened. My reflection looked exactly like me. Because it was me, wasn't it?
It needs you to invite it out. Don't let it trick you.
She's the one who needs invitation. She can't touch you unless you let her. I'm trapped in here, in the mirror world. She put me here.
I looked between them, paralyzed with indecision.
Please. I've been hiding in this apartment for weeks, ever since it trapped part of me in there. I couldn't leave. It would have taken over completely.
Ask her something only you would know. She won't be able to answer. She's not human anymore.
It was a reasonable suggestion. I turned to the woman.
What's my ex-wife's name?
The woman's face fell.
I don't know. I don't have your memories. But that doesn't mean I'm lying about what that thing is.
My reflection smiled triumphantly.
See, she can't answer because she's the entity. Help me get out. Just say I invite you out.
Don't. That's what it wants.
I looked back at my reflection. It looked so normal, so much like me. Except for the eyes. There was something wrong with the eyes. I stepped closer to the mirror, examining those eyes. They weren't reflecting light the way they should.
I know what you are now.
I whispered. My reflection's expression didn't change, but I sensed its eagerness.
You're not me, and you're not trapped. This is your domain, isn't it? The mirrors. You can only influence our world through reflective surfaces.
The smile on my reflection's face faltered.
And you...
I turned to the woman.
You're the previous tenant. You didn't leave. You've been hiding here, fighting it.
Yes. It's been trying to fully cross over. It needs a willing host. I've been resisting, but I'm so tired.
My reflection's face contorted with rage.
You're both lying. I'm the real one. Let me out.
It pounded on the glass from the inside. The mirror shuddered, but didn't break. I made a decision. I grabbed the hammer I'd brought for hanging pictures and approached the mirror.
What are you doing? You'll trap yourself in here forever.
My reflection's eyes widened in fear. Real fear.
I'm gonna end this.
I swung the hammer at the mirror. It cracked, but didn't shatter. My reflection screamed, a sound that couldn't possibly have come from a human throat. I swung again. More cracks appeared, spreading like a web across the surface. The woman behind me gasped.
It's working. Keep going.
With one final blow, the mirror shattered. Fragments fell into the sink and onto the floor, each one showing a tiny piece of the thing that had been pretending to be me. It screamed again, the sound fading like it was being pulled away into an immense distance. Then, silence. The woman approached cautiously, looking at the broken pieces.
It's gone, at least from this mirror.
What was it?
I don't know. Something old, something that lives in reflections and wants to live in our world.
Will it come back?
Maybe, probably, but not here, not now. It needs time to recover.
She looked exhausted, but relieved.
I should go. I've been squatting here since I moved out. The landlord thinks I left months ago.
Wait, what's your name?
She paused at the door.
Does it matter? We're both just people who saw something in a mirror.
After she left, I gathered every mirror in the apartment and took them to the dumpster. I covered the windows at night so they wouldn't become reflective surfaces in the darkness. I avoided puddles when it rained and kept my phone screen matte. It's been 2 months now. Sometimes, out of the corner of my eye, I think I see movement in reflective surfaces. A figure that looks like me, but isn't quite right. Watching, waiting. I try to convince myself it's just paranoia, but last night I woke to find my phone's screen on, reflecting the ceiling. In that tiny dark mirror, I saw a face looking down at me. My face, but with eyes that weren't mine. And it was smiling.